right here on FS1. Let's head over check in with Colin Coward today. Hey, Colin, what are you talking about?
It was the best Dallas Cowboy loss in years. You can take a lot from that. Some real clarity last night. We'll talk about that coming up.
All right, thank you, Colin. Time for our final topic of the day. Ahead of the Rams-Steelers game, Jalen Ramsey said Juju Smith-Schuster isn't the same threat that Antonio Brown was. Juju responded saying that in L.A., as opposed to Jacksonville, Ramsey can't just do whatever he wants, and, quote, here, he has to do what he's told.
Ooh.
So, Shannon, did you like Juju's response?
Yeah, if I was Juju, I'd say, you're right. I'm not an AB. I'm gainfully employed.
Yeah.
When I did with that one right there, I said, you're right. We're totally different players. We're wired differently. But I tell you what we did, the same thing that AB used to do. We got that dub out here. Now you're only going back to L.A., get back on the plane, all sore, beat up, hold this sail all the way back to L.A.
Would you believe Pittsburgh at 5-4 right now would be in the playoffs if they started today?
Wow.
Would you believe the Rams at 5-4 would be out of the playoffs if they started today?
No.
So I love what Juju said because I don't think he wants to be Antonio Brown.
No.
As much as he respected him, and I think he got along great with him, he wants to be Juju, and Juju's pretty good at being Juju. And guess what? The Steelers are starting to come alive here, and they got a big game on Thursday night against those Browns, but they're not that far out of the division lead, so I'm not going to write them off.
A little bit off topic. We know we talked about last week, Skip, Carolina potentially moving on. Steelers going to have going to have a decision to make. Landry Jones is playing quite well.
Not Landry Jones, but
what's this one? Mason Rudolph. Excuse me. Yeah, Mason Rudolph is playing his tail off. That defense is coming around, Skip. You can win.
He's not Ben, though.
Hey,
I like the dynamic, though, Mason Baker.
Do we know Ben's going? Hey, Skip, we know Ben's going to come back off that elbow surgery. How we know he's going to come back?
I don't know. I think he's got a year or two left.
Okay.
Hey, Lamar Jackson says, I got 10 years left. I got next.
That's a problem.
You survived the day, Skip.
No, he
didn't. It was a hard one.
He didn't.
I know it was a hard one. The Cowboys found themselves down 4 with a minute and a half remaining last night. On 2nd and 2 from the Vikings' 11-yard line, Dallas handed the ball off to Zeke twice. That resulted in a no gain and a loss of 3 yards. Then, on 4th and 5, Dak threw an incompletion to Zeke, who had been lined up in the slot. The Cowboys would get the ball back, but with only enough time for an unsuccessful Hail Mary attempt. And after the game, Jerry Jones said he wouldn't second-guess the play calling based on the result. Shannon, what do you make of the play calling at the end of the game?
Well, it's easy to second-guess it now because it didn't work, but normally Zeke is good for 2 yards. We've seen We've seen Zeke drag people into the end zone. Skip, you remember he was hitting the backfield against Green Bay, and he drugged the defensive lineman on his back into the end zone. And so I can understand the call that they think we're going to throw the ball, we're going to spread them out, Zeke, hit it quick, and we'll get the first down and we'll move on. If he doesn't get the first down, he's going to at least get us a touchdown. And that didn't happen. The third down call, Skip, I think they're trying to trick him. I thought they, see Zeke in an offset. They're not going to run the ball to Zeke. And if he does start, he's going to try to run up inside. Zeke starts up inside, and then he tries to bounce it. And they did a great job of stringing it out. The center got beat. Left tackle got pushed back. And so, really, he had nowhere to go. But it just shows, what this shows me, that even down in distance, in that area of the field, they were still committed to stopping Zeke Elliott. There's no way you can play coverage and get that kind of penetration on a consistent basis to hold that guy, Ezekiel Elliott, who's one of the best runners in football, to 20 carries and 47 yards. It just shows me that Zim was committed that, like, Ezekiel Elliott is not going to beat me. Because if I lose this game to the Cowboys, it's going to be because their quarterback played a heck of a ball game. And he played well, Skip, but they have dug themselves too much of a hole early in the ball game to overcome that. So for me, the play calling, if it worked, ain't got no problem with it when it working. You know what I'm saying? But see, for so long, Jerry has been about the results. When a play didn't work, it was a bad play. When a play worked, it was a good play. That's not how you do it. And I'm going to trust these guys. They've studied enough tape. They saw the defense that the Vikes line up in, and it just didn't work. Skip, you know defensive players get paid too. A lot of money. And the most talented guys are on that side of the football. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Did Ezekiel Elliott look like himself to you last night? You're in the Hall of Fame.
Look just fine.
Just
Looked just fine, said the guy who was rooting like mad for the Vikings.
Skip, why would I do that?
Like crazy.
Why would I do that?
I saw no evidence that Zeke could get 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2 or any of those 2s that he tried to get, 2nd and 2. And he had gone nowhere slowly the whole game. And I'm sorry, but I've told you the whole year, I don't see the same player. I don't see a guaranteed $50 million. He's the highest paid running back, and not once this year has he looked like he should be the highest paid running back.
You saw him against the Giants.
Yeah. What did he say after the game? Never had bigger holes to run through in my career.
Okay, what about the Jets? 105.
Yeah.
Washington.
When they fell behind by 21-3. He was playing on offense too. You always say, "Where was the quarterback in those first 3 drives?"
But you tell me the quarterback. Hold on, but you tell me the quarterback has the ball on every play. Zeke don't get the ball on every play. I just get the ball when you give it to me.
All I know is that the quarterback was out of his mind hot. The quarterback had made play after play. And I can also tell you this, the quarterback in big play situations is as good a running quarterback on making plays, the key play of the game, as there is in football. I'm talking about the key play, where you let him run the quarterback draw or the option keep or the bootleg RPO. He can pull off those plays because he is a gamer, battler, winner in those moments. Not one time did they call a play for him last night. Not one time. And when you put the game in Zeke's hands after he's gone nowhere slowly, that's the play caller's fault. Whoever it was, Jason Garrett or Kellen Moore.
Someone's to blame there.
Well, if you go to New England and beat them, Skip, I'm on Dak's bandwagon.
Okay, we'll have to see. We got to move on for now. How surprising was Juju Smith-Schuster's response to Jalen Ramsey's trap?